What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Two Off the Tee. We are recapping tonight the great 2023 PGA Championship that just finished up about an hour ago. And we're going to get right into it because Koepka is back. We were all over that. I want to give Allen the most credit because he had him at 22-1 to win. He was the one that convinced me going into the Masters that Koepka is still Koepka and that we should just basically call 2022 a wash. He had injuries, he had emotional stuff, probably wasn't in the best place mentally. And I mean, literally, two majors this year, a second place, and a win. Your boy is on fire, Allen.
Yeah, he's back. Put to rest a lot of that 54 hole talk too.
Yep.
But it's really just it's just about knowing the golfer, knowing the person or the athlete. I was a big fan of Brooks when he came in. I followed him his entire career, so I didn't listen to the talk of he's probably done. He's washed. I just wanted to see if the knee would hold up, and it did. And once he started looking more comfortable with his swing, is when I was like, yep, time to reinvest. I wish he was still doing the PGA Tour. I'd been betting him left and right. But it was funny. I actually utilized the strategy I told you about. Again, I was very high on Brooks. I bet him before at 20-1.
Yep.
Then I doubled down when he was 40-1. He shot 2 over in the first round, and I was still invested, and it was a good play. But ironically, still wasn't the most stressful thing I did this weekend when it came to betting. So
because the Preakness.
Yeah, the Preakness was very stressful.
Just some stuff on Koepka, and I do want to touch on a few more things before we move on to the rest of the stuff from the tournament. With this win, he joins Jack and Tiger as the only players in the modern era, and what I mean by that is it's nothing but stroke play wins with 3 PGA championships where they were stroke play victories. The event actually was a match play up until about 1945, I believe. He became the first player in tour history to win 3 majors in one state that is not Georgia, obviously because of Augusta. That doesn't count. A lot of guys have done that, but he has now won 3 majors in the state of New York. He became the 20th player in the history of the game to win 5+ majors, the last being Phil Mickelson in 2013. There are now only 14 players in the history of the game with more major wins than Brooks Koepka. And this is his 5th top 5 at the PGA Championship alone in the last 9 years. It's just unbelievable stuff that this guy's doing now. And we talked about this a little bit, Alan, this week, but, Koepka was kind of the one guy that I think we both agreed it really made sense to go to LIV, right? Because he always said he didn't care about regular tour events. And so now he can just kind of go get his game sharp on the LIV. And he's only really playing major events as 4-round, grueling tournaments. I could see this formula working very well for him because we were reminded again today that obviously Koepka is one of the most talented golfers in the world. There's no doubt about that. But it's his mental prowess, much like with Tiger, that he just doesn't ever seem affected by anything, or that there's any pressure, or there's any doubt in his mind that he's going to win these things. And I think we're about to maybe have another little Koepka run coming up.
I'm hoping so. Although he'll probably be like 10.
Oh, his odds are going way down.
They're gonna dip a lot. But mentally he's always been that guy, man. Like Rom called him a shark. It's true. Like that's who he is. Like he was intimidating Hovland, I'm sure. Like he seems like an intimidating guy when you're next to him. It's like you want to be friendly with him, but like when he's in competition mode, like that's all he's focused on. Like he just wants to win. And I think again, it's good for the tour, it's good for the game. I think he's a great competitor. He seems like a likable guy once he's done competing. He was very complimentary of Hovland, and he's never really had any issues with guys on tour except for the slow players and DeChambeau.
So you Cantley.
Yeah. So yeah.
He went 66, 66, 67 to your point after the 2-over round.
I was calling it in the chat. I kept saying like, "Hey, Koepka with the lowest score of the round again." Like, it went under the radar. It seemed like he
Did
shot
you see the stat that I sent you? That the last person to have the low round in the second and third round at a major was Tiger Woods in 1997 on his way to winning the Masters by 12 shots. So that's how dominant Koepka was after a slow start, because a lot of people got off to a good start and went the other way. He was, kind of the one that it was the opposite, where he didn't get off to a great start, but then once he kind of figured it out, he just pedaled to the metal. Really impressive play. He continues to make putts when he needs it. He continues to, hit greens when he's in the rough. He's so strong. It really was. It was a fantastic, because Hovland put pressure on him on the back nine over and over again. I know Hovland needed to make a few putts to really put the pressure on Koepka, but it was just like what he did to Tiger in the 2018 PGA when Tiger shot 64 in the final round, and Koepka just shot a smooth 66, right? And like every time Tiger would get in striking distance, Koepka would make another birdie and, kind of extend the lead to where it would be more difficult for him to come back. So I'm excited. I think this is great for the tour. I've said that, I'm not a huge live guy, but it is. It's better when the majors involve both live guys and PGA guys. It's better when they compete. And again, live had another really good week. You look at Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed had another good week. There's a lot of live guys. Cam Smith came back, had a great round today, shot 5 under. So before we get into some of the other storylines real quick, I want to remind everyone you can become an all-access member of Fantasy Six Pack by going to fantasysixpack.net/plans. You'll get access to our Discord, access to award-winning rankings, tools, and a whole lot more. Join today by using the promo code F6PMLB for 15 additional % off. The story of the week, though, again, and no disrespect to Koepka, because what he did was, just absolutely amazing. But man, it was the Michael Block show. The PGA Pro
show.
Sorry, Jay. It's really cool. Did you see he just got an invite to a special exemption to the PGA event next week? So he will be at the event next week, which that was not, I don't think, released until just literally in the last 20 minutes. He obviously had the hole-in-one today on 15 where he dunked it. You never see that for hole-in-ones, because usually if you're going to dunk it, it's with a wedge. It's rare that you see somebody hitting, I think he hit like a 6-iron or 7-iron and actually dunked in the hole. His fourth round 71 insured. He finished inside the top 15, meaning he will be at Valhalla next year. He gets an automatic invite to the PGA Championship. Obviously, again, with the invite for next week's PGA Tour event, do you think there's any chance that he could maybe turn this into? Because we have had players do this before where they get hot, at the right time, and they can kind of keep qualifying for events by their play, even though they don't have status on the tour.
He seemed very knowledgeable, not as a instructor, but literally as a competitor on the PGA Tour. Like, he wasn't intimidated by the course. He seemed to understand, things are going to happen. And with his aloof attitude of just being in the moment and having fun, I really think it works well for him. Like, there's no pressure on him whatsoever. And he didn't put any pressure on himself. Like, he was like, yo, I'm just happy to be here. Like, I'm hitting with Rory. This is cool. Like, he's just living the dream, like he said. And I think that's great. And I would not be shocked if he could keep it going. Like, he just really seemed like he had a good feel for what it takes to compete at the PGA level. Not necessarily win, but what it takes to compete.
And if you play 18 holes with Rory McIlroy on Sunday and pretty much go head-to-head with him, he's got to have a world of confidence come out of this. Because, his weekend pairings were tough pairings, and he played well on both of them. He didn't have a birdie today, Alan. He literally just had the eagle and 3 bogeys, shot 1 over.
And then the last shot that got him.
Putt. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. He had to get it up and down and knew he had to stay T15. Again, that would get him into next year's PGA Championship, which he qualified this year by going through the PGA Nationals deal, where 20 spots go to PGA professionals, like actual not PGA Tour players, but guys that work in the golf business that have their PGA license. So obviously he didn't want to have to go through that because it's really difficult. You have to beat so many players, and he did get in. A few more things, because then we're going to get out of here. I didn't want to spend too much time, but I did want to talk a little bit about this stuff. Do you think it's a good sign, bad sign with the way that Scheffler played? Because it again kind of felt like to me, Alan, when the pressure was on, he struggled a little bit, and he continued to kind of make runs, but it was when he was sort of technically out of contention a little bit.
I mean, pull the Rory.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of it is, I think it's a mixed bag. I'll continue to be glass half full with him because he had like success at a very early start. Like he's very young, you know, and I think we got spoiled by giving him this moniker that he's probably not quite ready for. Essentially, what we're seeing is, in my mind, like a sophomore slump.
Right.
And I think he'll be fine if he just keeps at it. Because again, he fought back and what was
third, yeah, he won probably $2 million.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for like a couple bad rolls here and there, he might have gotten up to 8 under. You know, you never know. But I like what I saw from him in this last round, where it looked like he could have just mailed it in, but he didn't. He kept competing.
Our boy Rory, you know, you famously have said you're done with him. You finally got me to see the light.
He's just happy and stuff. He's just happy to be here too, which is not what I want to see.
It's unbelievable, man. I mean, you want to talk about a guy with a lot of talent that just, I don't know what it is, man. I just think he's soft, and I hate to say that, but, and I don't mean physically, I mean mentally. Like he's mentally soft, and I mean, like today, I really thought that if he was gonna, have a chance to win a major again, today was a prime example of what he could do, right? Where he was going off a little bit ahead of those guys. There wouldn't be a lot of pressure, just go post a number. And much like the Open Championship last year, he just could not make any putts.
Yeah, and I think like I don't want to disrespect a world-class athlete. Right. In the sense of like saying like, well, what I would do, because again, I can't imagine the pressure that he has on him. But we also have to take into consideration that he's always had that pressure. Like this isn't a new thing. Like Roy was the next best thing, was supposed to replace Tiger. Like that he took over the damn game. Like it was always gonna be this way. So it's weird to me to see how he openly embraced it, because he was a little fiery when he came in, and then like it's just like he's been beat down to the point of, I guess, not living up to those expectations, where he's just probably just a little tired. And I don't want to call him soft, but I think that's really what he is. And part of that is our fault as fans for putting a lot of pressure on him and those expectations, and part of that is his fault for never slowing people down and being like, look, I'm not Tiger. I'm good at golf. I'm great. I want to be great, but I want to do it my way. And you see that a lot with athletes. And I'll use LeBron as an example.
I was going to say the Jordan comparison.
Yeah. When you come in behind an all-time great, it's you either sink or swim. That's essentially what you do. And very few athletes live up to the expectations of that all-time great when they're right behind the all-time great. Now, if we waited, let's say we waited 2 generations and we had Rory 2 generations from now, it'd probably be a little bit easier for him, because Tiger wasn't playing, like LeBron didn't play with Jordan. And Jordan came in, when Jordan came in and people started talking about him being the GOAT, the people who would have challenged that had already left, so it wasn't that kind of pressure. I think that's really what's been hurting him a little, and he really needs a long break, I think, which I know he can't do, or he probably doesn't want to do. But
especially after he's already got fined $3 million for missing one elevated event.
We seen Tiger leave, and not even Tiger. DJ did it. DJ took an extended break, quote unquote, and he came back and was winning. So it's not like you can't just get your mental right, because you got the talent.
Yeah, Tiger was always hurt too, which is usually where he got these long breaks. Yeah. I do worry about with Rory, and it's something that I've talked about for quite some time, is It's like the fat and happy syndrome. These guys are making crazy freaking money playing golf for a living. I mean, you think about how many people spend, including myself, every free moment they can grab to go out there and do this. And these guys are getting paid ridiculous sums of money to play golf. And I mean, the truth of the matter is, like, the reason Tiger and Jack are who they are is they work their ass off. You know what I mean? Like, they constantly were grinding and practicing and wanting to get better. And I just sometimes wonder, I mean, we saw this with Mickelson. I think Mickelson had enough talent to win, another 4 or 5 majors easy. But I don't know if he really wanted to put in the work, like he just kind of liked being Phil Mickelson and doing what he did. And I'll get my majors when I can. But it's going to be tough for Rory, man. It really is, because the pressure just keeps mounting with each major that he does. And we're going to hit 10 years next year since his last major. And the young guys on tour aren't getting any worse. They're getting better.
Yeah, I was going to say that the biggest issue is that the people that used to look up to him are now looking down at him.
Right.
That's probably bothering him a little bit too. Like, I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 guys on tour right now, like a Colin Morikawa that probably grew up a Rory fan, and now he's looking at Rory like, bro, you're +5. What's going on? So that probably bothers him. And Tiger probably went through that too a little as he hit his decline, where guys who like what's his name, Justin Thomas and Rory were looking up to him, Rahm looking up to him, Koepka looking up to him, and then they're now past him. And it's bittersweet, but Tiger was like physically at that point where he was starting to decline anyway. Yep. Rory should not be at that point whatsoever. And it's something that I think
it's in between the years for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's not getting talked about enough, but I mean, he can't avoid the Open's coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so every year
I'm sorry, U.S. Open's next.
Yeah,
US Open last.
The Open last. All right, well then, every year when the Open comes up, his name pops up and people ask when, why, what. So it's inevitable. He's got to figure it out, man. He really needs to figure it out.
No, I completely agree. 2 more guys and we'll get out of here. How impressed were you with Bryson this week?
Yeah, same old Bryson, man. Like I think there was like 14. I think they cut to him. He's in the thick stuff, just muscled it over the green, and I'm like, dude, I love the strategy. It's what I do when I play golf games in general. I just muscle it because I don't know anything. Yeah. And if I was a professional golfer, that's probably what I would do too. Like, I'm just gonna muscle it. Like, people would tell you, no, you can't take on that water in this wind. Yeah, whatever. Smack. And it's just the same Bryson. I mean, I wasn't unimpressed with him. Anytime he overcomes his little wayward shots here and there, he didn't seem like he was talking to himself as much as he usually does. So I mean, again, try not to like make fun of him per se, but
right.
Like, I didn't have any opinion on it either, or I'm not up or down on him. It's whatever.
I do think with him, it looks like giving up on this, I'm going to be the biggest dude on tour. And I mean, physically, obviously, not, popularity.
Yeah, Brooks killed that.
Right. His swing looks so much better again. And he's still, he had 8 irons, like 210 yards this week. So he's still got bukus of distance. And that was what just drove me crazy about DeChambeau. Like, a lot of people have so many problems with him. I actually don't have a problem with a lot of the stuff that people get upset about. My problem was, dude, you were one of the best golfers in the world, and you're trying to make an extreme body makeover when, again, you're already one of the longest dudes on tour. You had one of the better games, and I don't think it was a coincidence. He started battling injuries as he got bigger. He started, his short game started struggling. He just kind of obsessed with club head speed and ball speed. So it was, I just thought it was fascinating that he was back. And again, it is, I think, fair to say, only 2 majors in. I don't know if the live discount's going to continue, or the live tax, as I've been calling it, where we're getting these good odds on them. But the live guys have proved that they can show up and do great, right? Like, it doesn't matter if they're in good form on the live tour. Doesn't matter if they haven't played a 4-round event in 3 months. Like, these guys can play. And when they get in these majors, I do think they're, you can make an argument in some ways it's easier on them, right? Because they don't have the, the grind of the PGA Tour season where they're playing 4-round events and, getting into these like rock fights, on Sunday where you might blow a lead and, what that does for your confidence or your mental game. So, but before we get out of here, I want to talk about Viktor Hovland for a minute. Amazing performance. Do you think he is now officially the best guy on tour without a major, or is it still some of the other names like Xander or Finau, those guys?
I think he's earned that. I'm a big Xander fan. I don't think Xander's there right now, and Finau hasn't performed as well as Hovland overall this year in these bigger events. So I think he's earned that.
He is, we're joking because, again, Allen obviously having Koepka everywhere. I wasn't like rooting for Hovland.
No, I was messing
when he
with
got
you.
that up and down, when he went long, which was an awful shot on 10, I just couldn't believe it because this is a guy that used to be a terrible, short game around the greens, especially with pitching and stuff. And to see him, improve that part of his game. Obviously, the putter let him down today, but he's such an immense ball striker. And now we're look at his last 4 majors, T4, T7, T2. That's a hell of a run to play 3 different major venues and finish in the top 7. Before that, the year before in 2021, he had a T21, T30, a T12. He's close, and I think it's only a matter of time. He's such a good ball striker. I think he's going to win one of these when, ball striking is such a premium. He doesn't have to putt great, and it's just his advantage from tee to green is going to be so significant that he'll end up, doing it. And it was a shame the way it ended. I hated, that he went the same route as Corey Connors. It was literally like a replay where his ball, just plugged into the lip of the grass right over the bunker.
I still don't understand the physics of that. I just don't get how it just happened to them too. Like,
I will tell you, they won't admit this. They had to hit that a little low on the club, Alan. Like they had to. Like
something was. I figured it had to be a missed shot because I'm just like, dude, what? Like, even if you like shank it, it shouldn't go straight. Like, it's a bullet into the side of the dirt. Like,
it's the incline is why it does it, because the ball is immediately trying to get up, right? Mm-hmm. And you think about, like, if you chip a ball into the hill, right, how it slows it down, and you kind of run it up. Well, if that's with a wedge or 8-iron or something, this is trying to hit something really hard, and especially up in the north where the ground is still not super firm, especially in the rough, it just plugged. I've had it unfortunately happen to me before. I hated that's the way it ended because he really did. He played great. I thought it was really impressive because, again, Koepka is that guy on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, you do not want to get into. That's why, again, I give Rahm so much credit for outdueling him at Augusta, because Koepka is as good as anybody ever at just being able to close majors. So I think the future's bright for Hovland, and I think he's arguably now the best player in the game without a major, and I'll be very interested to see his odds for the Open and U.S. Open. Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
There was something else. Oh, yeah. The Live PGA Tour comparison, it just baffles me that people act like it's, I'll use a baseball reference, like it's AAA versus Major League, because there's a drastic difference in Major League Baseball players and AAA players, even though it's one level under. But I've been telling people it's like American League and National League. Like American League had a DH and National League the pitcher hit.
It's a great
but like
analogy.
it's still they're both competitive in both the same level of talent and athlete. So I think people need to just kill that noise. And I know odds makers are definitely gonna fix it, because
I hope not, right? We've been doing pretty well.
It's gotta happen, man, because Live is just too popular with like the Twitter clips and stuff. Like they're too popular with the people that are like, oh, I don't know anything about golf, but I'll just throw $10 on this guy because he went viral. Like, there's probably people who bet Brooks because his brother went viral for his hole-in-one celebration. Like, it's just that kind of thing. And I think at the end of the day, the tour and just the game in general just needs to respect some of these top guys as still being top guys.
Yeah, again, 6 LIV guys in the top 18. So second major in a row. They've they've shown out. So, well, Alan, I appreciate you jumping on with me for this. We'll obviously be back next week with the preview of, I believe it's the Charles Schwab is actually the event that's next week. So hopefully we'll be giving you a lot of winners. I do want to toot my own horn a little bit because we were tooting yours about Koepka. I did give Sepp Straka 9-1 to top 20. I continue my streak of just these top 20s that kind of come out of nowhere. And the other thing is, I guess I'm going to just have to start betting every play for my DFS column because I give 10 plays each week. This is 5 weeks in a row. The guy, one of the eventual winner of the PGA Tour event that week was in my DFS lineup. So thank you, Brooks Koepka. But,
I was looking back at my picks, but I don't think I won. I don't think I won the overall because
you talking about our teams? Did Jay win?
He might have.
I think he did.
I didn't.
I'll add it up tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't write everybody's down.
I did.
I didn't win because I looked back at this last round and I don't think anybody shot under like +4 for me.
I don't think I had 4 guys make the cut.
Yeah. So is Brooks unless there's a huge bonus for Brooks winning it, I don't know. I'm gonna toot my horn for picking him first. There you go.
I'm gonna love it. And again, I want to give Jay credit. He took Hovland 2nd overall, and just as calmly as could be, said, "I think it's his week, and at the end of the week, he'll be raising the title." And if it wasn't for a bad motherfucker in both Koepka, he would have. So
no, I respect Jay. Like Jay's gonna be a phenomenal horse capper. Watch. I want to take him to the track because he doesn't blink whenever he takes a chance, and that matters. You know, like I told you that when you first started betting off. Like, just go with your gut. Don't overthink it, and just because I don't see it doesn't mean that you're wrong. Right? We all see different things, so it's fine.
Well, Alan, I appreciate it. Be sure to follow Alan on Twitter. That's at ActivelyLazy85. We'd appreciate if you follow me at Keith Flemming. And again, on the Fantasy 6 YouTube channel, we will be back Tuesday night. Probably will come up Wednesday morning with the Charles Schwab preview for the PGA event next week. But for Keith and Alan, this has been 2 Off the Tee. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.